Hi everyone, my name is Tiffany Savory. I'm here today and regarding to more rights to healthcare. I will be going over what does more rights mean. Now, there's elements that make up more rights to healthcare. The first on the list is the Code of Ethics. The second is the Stark and Anti-Kickback laws. And the third, Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. Now, what does more right mean? A more right in healthcare is an obligation to ensure that healthcare is accessible and affordable. According to an article by Marathapi Ulukande Gnanajasingham, there are a few people today that would argue that healthcare for all is a moral right, such as Peter Singer, who had adopted the utilitarian standpoint, claiming the greatest good for the greatest number, had, had argued that suffering from a lack of medical care is harmful. If we have the power to prevent something harmful from happening, it would be wrong not to do so. By not introducing healthcare as a right, we are doing something wrong. Yeah, good point. No matter the circumstance of our financial status, everyone has the right to achieve the highest quality of healthcare. The first on the list was the Code of Ethics. Now, according to the American Medical Association, Code of Ethics are not laws or rules, but guidelines to identify the essentials of ethical behaviors for physicians. Also, according to Medical Association, ethical refers to involving moral principles, values, and practices, as well as matters of social policy involving issues of the moral of the practice of medicine. There's 4 principles of a code of ethics. The first one is anonymity, meaning the patient has the capacity to act intentionally with the understanding and without controlling influences. They have the right to accept or reject any medical treatment. Another principle of ethics is non-malevolence, meaning to do no harm or injury to the patient either through acts of commission or omission. Another one is beneficence. Sorry, I'm having trouble pronouncing some of these words. It means that providers have the duty to be a benefit to the patient and to take positive steps to prevent and to remove harm from the patient. In other words, to take care of the patient and to get them healthy. Another one is the justice, which is a form of fairness, meaning treating all patients equally and with fairness. Just like Aristotle has said, giving to each that which is his due. That was an article by McCormick. The next is the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, also known as HIPAA. According to our text by Bastillos, the right to privacy means to have the right to be left alone, in which access to intimate details and information is controlled by the person. In legal terms, is the right to limit the interference of others when making personal and anonymous choices. Now, how does rights to privacy pertain to HIPAA? HIPAA protects patients' health information from being shared within the organization. HIPAA requires the patient's consent in order to share their protected health information. According to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the privacy rule standards address the use and disclosure of or individuals' protected health information by organizations under covered entities, as well as standards for individuals' privacy rights to understand and control how their health information is used. There are several ways for healthcare professionals to be compliant with HIPAA. One is to have informed consent. According to our text by Bastillos, informed consent is the idea or notion that healthcare decisions that should be made in between the patient and the physician or healthcare team, which also is an ethical doctrine and set of legal rules that prescribe certain behaviors and procedures for healthcare professionals. What this means is that the healthcare professional cannot move forward with any medical treatment or to share the patient's protected health information without their consent. Sorry. Next is the Stark anti-kickback laws. First, the Stark law prohibits physicians. According to the article by Wood, the Stark law prohibits physicians from making a referral for certain designated health services for which payment may be made under the Medicare or Medicaid program if the physician has a financial relationship with an entity that provides the designated health services. Now, the anti-kickback laws, also according to Wood, stated that anti-kickback laws prohibits knowing and full solicitation, offer, payment, or receipt of any remuneration, whether it's direct or indirect, in cash or in kind, to induce or in return for referrals, for items or service covered by Medicare, Medicaid, or any other government health programs. That concludes the presentation. I do apologize for being coughing and everything. In conclusion, the moral right to healthcare is important because it ensures that the patients are receiving the highest quality of healthcare. Also, that the hospital are following the regulations to ensure the patient's safety and rights. By understanding the Code of Ethics, the Stark and anti-kickback laws, and HIPAA will be able to ensure the quality of healthcare is efficient and effective to their patients. Thank you. I enjoyed these past 5 weeks in this class. I wish everyone luck in their future endeavors.